Welcome to Stock Therapy with Penny Queen. Today I have the executive chairman of South Pacific back to talk to us about two more of their projects, Anga and Osena. Welcome back.
Thanks, Penny. Thanks for having me.
All right, I'm thrilled to be talking about these two projects because they are the most exciting for me because there's so much going on there right now. But I want to talk about them together because they really sandwich in the K92 project. And you've got those mineralization corridors running through, basically going left to right and up and down, overlapping. And it's just a very exciting and active area. So I'd like to talk first about Anga, the project that is, northeast of K92 and everything that's going on there.
Sure. So the background here is a few years back, 3 or 4 years ago, K92 and our predecessor company shared the cost of doing an MT survey. Basically shows the ground's connectivity. We released all the data that we found. K92 released most of the data they found. There's a buffer zone between the two projects. The data they won't release. Now, if you look at the data that's been released by both parties, you could draw an imaginary line between the two of them and to see whether or not they connected. But you'd be speculating because the data has never been released. So there's a few ways to reduce that level of speculation. One, you could go out in the ground as we did and do very large soil and rock chip sampling programs, and we have found mineralization. They do a reverse magnetics on the MT survey that was provided. That survey predicts where, in theory, mineralization should come to the surface. So what do? You go to the place where the model, in theory, says there should be mineralization and check whether there's mineralization or not. And in this case, there is. Now, anecdotally, that area where K92 doesn't disclose, the MT survey last January, they had one drill rig going. They now have 5. And most of these Aerocomp exploration results they've been releasing over the last year, some of them have been really terrific. And the one that comes to mind is sort of 98 meters at 3 grams of surface. But there's been many, many others. And that area obviously is right up against our border. In fact, our property where we're doing exploration work now is actually closer to their plant at 1,500 meters than their existing mine is. I'm not sure what that really means, but kind of a fun fact. So that's it. Yeah. So we're out in the ground now that we found some mineralization. We're going to be really thorough and work up some drill targets, and should be drilling it by next year.
Okay, and I'll throw up these maps so that everybody can see what's going on. And you have your own drill in country, right?
Yeah.
Is that where it's placed right now?
No, it's at Ontenu down to the southwest.
Okay, perfect. Then let's start talking about Ontenu. So for everyone at home, I'm going to show the map, but just so you have reference, these are massive projects. Anga is to the northeast. It is 461 square kilometers. And then on that same mineralization corridor, you go down to the southwest and you have the Osena project. Now, Osena has a lot of areas of interest, and this thing is massive. It's 738 kilometers. It has mineralization running both directions on it, and the Ontenu prospect is a little part of Osena that we're talking about right now. So you can see it on the map, but it is also right next to a historic mine. So what can you tell us about Ontenu?
So we went through a very similar process that I just described, although we're much further down the road in the process here. So again, geophysics shows up that there's a large porphyry system in this Ontenu area, which is about 3 by 5 kilometers. And as you rightly point out, it is just a small fraction of what we believe is a very, 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 very large opportunity here. So again, we've got the geophysics that looked interesting. Went out and did all the soil sampling. We've done 1,100 meters of trenching. all kinds of channel sampling, and have got results which I've never seen before. So like 10% copper and 600 and 900 grams silver and 73 grams gold. And this isn't in float rocks that have gone and been chipped off the other side of the hill or whatever. We hired a bunch of structural geologists to help us really understand what was going on. Within this Ontenu area, there's an area called Ontenu Northeast, which is about 1.5 by 2.5 kilometers. So we're really trying to, zone in here. In that small little, it's not postage stamp, but it feels like a postage stamp in the scheme of things. We've identified 6 mineralized structures ranging between 500 and 1,200 meters. We've done a lot of thorough work. As you rightly point out, we bought our own drill. That drill, we started drilling what we think is the biggest target at the end of last week. So, our drill costs are super low because we own the drill. I mean, we're estimating between $200 and $300 a meter. I guess, time will tell. It's easy to get to. You can just about drive to it. You need a helicopter to move the drill between pads, which probably is once a month or once every 5 or 6 weeks. But all resupplies like piping, gas, diesel, food, water, all that sort of stuff, crews, all walk in and out. So once we get the drill set up, drilling is pretty cheap. The idea is we're going to do 6 holes, kind of up to about 300 meters or so each. Now the drill is going, it's my anticipation that it will. I don't want to see it ever stop. We've got more targets. We've got a lot of targets, so I don't ever see it ever stopping.
For anybody who's listening at home, some of the rock samples that have come out of this area are like 73 grams per ton of gold, 960 grams per ton of silver, 3% copper, 10% zinc. So this is a very richly mineralized area. And
10% copper, you got it backwards. 10% copper, 3% zinc.
Sorry, a lot. It's a lot. Okay.
Yeah, it is a lot.
Are we on? This is the same mineralization corridor that Grasberg is on.
Yeah.
Okay, so for anyone who isn't familiar with Grasberg, it is one of the largest reserves of copper and gold in the world. It is just
it's the second largest.
Second largest.
And if you convert it into gold equivalent, I think I saw somewhere it's equivalent of 150 million ounces.
That is a ton.
It's ginormous. It's ginormous.
Man, so I'm cheating here, everybody. I'm looking at Wikipedia on it, and the 2023 production of Grasberg was 680,000 tons of copper and 52.9 tons of gold, also 190 tons of silver. So this is just a massive, and it's a big open pit mine. So the one thing I want to keep pointing out to people is that the geology of Papua New Guinea is very unique. It is very rich. That's why you see K92 building a massive mine there. We've got, up at Frida River, massive, absolutely massive plans. And you certainly don't see that, in Alberta and Oregon, right?
Well, I like to think this is one of the last places on the planet where discovery of major resources is possible, because this region of the world is really underexplored despite having some of the largest copper gold projects in the world.
Yeah, well, it's an exciting place to be working, and it's definitely an exciting place to be sitting on 4 massive projects. So
for sure it is.
All right, well, I think for everyone that's listening, they can certainly stand by and wait for more results to come out. But I would also love to come back and talk to you a bit about May River maybe next week.
Sure.
All right, perfect. Thank you for joining me.
Thank you.